And 1 times 4, okay, is 4. When we add these together, we get 1, which is our middle term and what we're looking for, positive 1. Okay, so these are going to be our terms. Okay, the most important thing now is to make sure that we put in the correct parentheses, the correct terms. So we want to make sure that here, what gave us our correct middle term, okay, of a positive 1 was 1 times negative 1. So 1x times negative 1 is going to go in our first bracket, or our first parentheses. Okay. Then we're going to have 3x, okay, times 4. Okay. So now let's FOIL this out and check it. X times 3x is 3x squared. X times 4 is 4x. Negative 1 times 3x is a negative 3x. And negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. Okay? When we combine our middle terms, we get 3x squared plus x minus 4, which is our original trinomial. So the correct factors of 3x squared plus x minus 4 is x minus 1 and 3x plus 4. Look at example number 3. 6x squared minus 19 plus 15. Okay? Looking at our signs in our trinomial, we have a negative in the middle and a positive on the end. We know from previous lessons that that means that both of our signs on the inside of our binomial factors will be negative. So, now let's look at the factors of 6. The factors of 6, 15, okay, of the negative numbers to get to positive 15 are going to be a negative 1 and a negative 15 and a negative 3 and a negative 5. Again, we're making those negative because our middle term is negative. So we know that in order to get a positive number as our final term, we're going to be multiplying two negative numbers together, which give us a positive. Okay, so let's create our columns just as we've done before, okay, and pick our terms. Let's start off with 2 and 3, our terms of our factors of 6, and let's multiply by, let's say, negative 3 and negative 5. Okay. All right, so 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6, and 3 times negative 5 is a negative 15. When we add these together, we get negative 21. Now, that's not what we're looking for because we need a negative 19, correct? However, we're close. So, I'm going to look at maybe just switching one of my terms or flipping them and putting them with a different number. So, let's try that. Okay. Let's try maybe multiplying our negative 5 times 2. Okay. And maybe our negative 3 times 3. So 2 times negative 5 is negative 10, and 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. When I add those together, I get negative 19, which is the correct number that we're looking for in our middle term. So now I have my terms of my binomial factors. Now I've just got to plug them in. So again, I'm going to put in the diagonal, the factors diagonal from each other, so 3x minus 5, and then 2x minus 3. Okay. And then I'm going to multiply these together to check them. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a different method of multiplying binomials called the box method. Some people love this method because it seems very easy for them. Okay. But it's the same thing as FOILing. So if FOIL is something that comes easy to you and you know how to use it, then use FOIL. Okay? If FOIL is something you perhaps still struggle with, pay attention to the box method now because this may be something that may be a lot easier for you. So the box method, okay, for multiplying. The box method for multiplying binomials is simple as this. You create a box, okay, 4 squares, okay, and you write your first binomial, okay, on one side, 3x minus 5, okay, and then you write your second binomial, okay, which would be 2x minus 3, okay. Then you just multiply the boxes with each other. So 2x, okay, and I'm going to multiply that with 3x, okay, which gives me 6x squared, okay. Then I'm going to multiply negative 3 times 3x, which is going to give me a negative 9x. Okay. Then I'm going to multiply 2x, okay, times negative 5, which gives me negative 10x. And then I'm going to multiply negative 3 times a negative 5, which gives me a positive 15. Okay. The last step is I've got to combine my like terms, which are going to be diagonal from each other. Okay. So I'm going to combine like terms, okay, which are going to be diagonal from each other, and that's going to give me, then I just write my terms in descending order of degree, so in degree order. So I'm going to start with my highest exponent, which is 6x squared. Okay. Negative 10x plus a negative 9x is negative 19x plus 15, okay, which is my original trinomial. So 3x minus 5 and 2x minus 3 are the correct factors of 6x squared minus 19x plus 15. Last example that I'm going to work for you guys is example number 4. Okay? Looking at my signs of 3x squared minus 17x minus 6. Okay? Looking at those signs when they're both, when my last term is negative, okay, and my middle term is negative, this means that my signs inside of my parentheses are going to be, one's going to be a negative and one's going to be a positive. Okay? So, and because my middle term is negative, that means that my biggest number is going to be negative. Okay? So, let's look at our factors. Our factors of negative 6 are going to be negative 6 times, or negative 1 times 6, a negative 6 times a positive 1, a negative 2 times a positive 3, or a negative 3 times a positive 2. Okay? My terms of a positive 3 are just 3 times 1. Okay? So creating our columns just like we've done before. Okay? I'm going to use my factors of 3 and 1. And then my factors of negative 6, I'm going to pick one that seems most likely. I do have a rather large number for my middle term, so I'm thinking maybe I should use either a negative 1 and 6 or negative 6 times 1 term, which would give me a larger number. And I'm thinking I might match up my 6 with that 3. So let's try the negative 6, which again, because my middle term is negative, I want my larger number to be negative, so I'm going to start with negative 6 times 1. Okay, so 3 times a negative 6, okay, gives me negative 18. And 1 times 1 gives me a positive 1. When I add these together, I get negative 17, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So a little forward thinking and adding a little thought process into what I'm looking for and looking at my terms can take out some of the extra time that you may need to spend on this guess and check method. And again, it's not going to come overnight, guys. It's going to happen slowly with lots of practice. So, I've got my correct terms. So now I'm just going to, again, the terms diagonal from one another, I'm going to put in my parentheses. So 1x minus 6, okay, and 3x plus 1. Okay. I'm going to use the box method again this time for those of you who have never seen it, just to check my work. So I'm going to create my box. I'm going to put my first term 1x minus 6 and my second binomial 3x plus 1. It doesn't really matter which side you put them on as long as you put them in order. Okay. So 3x times 1x is 3x squared. 3x minus times negative 6 is a negative 18x. 1 times 1x is x, and 1 times a negative 6 is a negative 6. Okay. When I combine my like terms in the middle and then put them in degree order, that's going to give me 3x squared minus 17x minus 6, which is what I was looking for, the trinomial that I was factoring originally, so I do have the correct terms. And factors, which are 1x minus 6 and 3x plus 1. That's it for today, guys. Please do all 10 problems on the front side of your homework, and those will be due the next time I see you guys.